morning. My name is Justin Decloux, and I'm here today with
Will Sloan.
And you're listening to the Important Cinema Club. And today we are talking about golden age of Hollywood director Edmund Goulding. I should say writer, director, song composer, Edmund Goulding. He was a
Actor.
Yes, actor as well. Novelist. He wrote one novel. And you may be wondering, wait, I've never heard of this guy. We'll get into why that is as we talk about this subject.
Well, in 1933, a movie won the Oscar for Best Picture without being nominated in any other category. It has never happened before or since. That movie was Grand Hotel, and the snubbed director never got an Oscar nomination, was Mr. Edmund Goulding. Edmund Goulding was the director, and I think that kind of sums up his reputation today. He directed a movie that won Best Picture at the Oscars, and you don't know him.
No, you don't.
You probably don't. Although I'm sure you know some of his movies if you're into movies.
Nightmare Alley, Dark Victory. Yeah, that's probably pretty much it.
Those are the solid gold classics.
I think I became interested in Edmund Goulding because the Nitrate Picture Show, they're going in the vaults, they're pulling these out. We watched Nightmare Alley, and we also watched The Razor's Edge.
That's right. The Nitrate Picture Show, for those who don't know, it's held in Rochester, New York every year. It's at the George Eastman House, and they play 35mm prints on original nitrate film stock, which was the highly flammable film stock that was phased out in the early 1950s. One company, I guess, that kept a lot of its 1940s nitrate film stock was Fox. So you see a lot of Fox stuff there. You see a lot of David O. Selznick stuff. And yeah, I guess there was one year. Did it play in the same year?
I don't think it played in the same year. I think it may have played in separate years.
Razor's Edge and Nightmare Alley both played, though. Yeah. And, Nightmare Alley, familiar enough. Razor's Edge, though it's one of his most popular films, I had never seen it before. I'd never even thought to see it.
Until you saw it. And I say see it because I have a feeling I looked over at Willie.
That's not true.
I mean, that second day of the Nitrate Picture Show, we're all falling asleep during it. Let's be honest.
I dispute the record on that. I remembered this movie pretty well.
So I didn't remember Nightmare Alley or Razor's Edge, and I saw them both wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. I guess I'm getting to that age. It's like everything is new again. Just give it 5 years.
I am at the stage of like I'll watch something and then I'll see on Letterboxd, oh, I saw this in 2017.
Yeah. And I remember when I saw Razor's Edge, I was just so taken by the long take style that Edmund Goulding had in that movie. That, like, I believe the person who did the introduction didn't compare it to Citizen Kane, but said that, like, kind of stylistically that there's a lot going on in Edmund Goulding and that he's doing something much different than Wells is, but still as bravura.
Well, I will say that watching The Razor's Edge again this week, there's a scene at a nightclub where the camera sort of drifts up while the couple are walking out, and it just sort of drifts through the nightclub, and you see, like, dozens of extras. They're all doing some little bit of choreographed action. And then, like, as the scene fades out, there's somebody who gets into a fight, like on the right-hand side of the frame. It's a long shot. Goulding doesn't even really accentuate it or anything. It's just there. And I was looking at that like, wait, is that Tyrone Power's character? No. It's just a little bit of action.
A little bit of flavor in the background.
And I thought to myself, well, first of all, Edmund Goulding can obviously, like, get the job done. But I also thought, God, having a Hollywood studio budget really is something. You can have a throwaway crowd scene like this with all this action, and it's not even calling attention to itself, really.
Now, there is a biography about Edmund Goulding, Edmund Goulding's Dark Victory, which I've had sitting on my shelf for 5 years probably. And I'm like, all right, let's do an episode. Let me pull this off. Read it from cover to cover. Came out from it going, Edmund Goulding, not a good guy.
Oh, tell me about this. What's bad about him?
Okay, this is not bad about him, but he was famous for his orgies.
Oh, sounds good to me.
At Hollywood parties. What was bad about him is he basically did the casting couch thing forever with women. Okay. That, like, there's even some on record in the 40s of them being like, yeah, he did this stuff to me, that basically reads like a Me Too account.
Okay.
I've seen him described as gay in a lot of places, but he was seemingly, by most accounts, bisexual, but he hung out with the gay crowd a lot.
Okay.
And that he also, ravenous appetite, I believe one actor said, if Edmund Goulding hasn't done a sexual act, it's just because he hasn't thought of it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, well, think about that next time you watch Dark Victory, folks.
But also, all the actors that worked with him loved him, especially the women, which is why he made so many women's pictures.
Wait, the women? Well, then who is he doing the casting couch stuff to? I guess not
new people,
not
that
Betty
are coming
Davis.
that would not get any jobs. No,
okay.
I mean, if you look at the movies, they're all like really famous people that he, like Gloria Swanson, like you mentioned, Betty Davis, Joan Crawford.
Okay, classic behavior. Sounds to me like Edmund Goulding is a land of contrasts.
That's right. And you know what? He died with nothing to his name, and at the funeral, everyone was sad. So you know, he got what he
suffered.
Yes,
he got his comeuppance. I'll tell you what Andrew Sarris says about him in the American cinema.
Where is he getting in that chapter?
He is, I think, correctly ranked in the lightly likable section.
Yep, that is the correct section to put him in.
Andrew Sarris says his best films are seldom attributed to him.
Yep.
His remakes, The Dawn Patrol, Until We Meet Again, were markedly but not disgracefully inferior to the originals. And Sarris also called him a vehicle director with something extra. So basically, he made movies that were kind of built around the stars, oftentimes glamorous female stars, and they were a little bit better than just that. And I'll say, for me, there are certain golden age Hollywood directors where when I see their name in the credits, I think, this is not a plus. Mm-hmm. Like if I see Sam Wood's name, I think, okay, this movie might be good in spite of Sam Wood.
What if you see Sam Wood's name and Edmund Goulding's, because they both worked on A Night at the Opera?
Well, obviously the combustion became an explosion in that case.
Well, you know what Edmund Goulding did on Night at the Opera?
No.
The musical numbers.
Oh, so the worst.
The worst parts.
Yeah. Well, he did the musical numbers, and then Sam Wood just sort of plopped the camera down for all the rest of it. What I'll say about Edmund Goulding is I see his name now, and it does not inspire like great curiosity in me to check the deep cuts. Mm-hmm. But also I see the name and I think this is a stable hand.
Now, reading about his kind of work, a lot of people said that he loved actors and that something like The Razor's Edge and the long shots in it are mostly an extension of just wanting to capture it all in one go, that he would rehearse all morning and then in the afternoon they would shoot the scenes and they would all be done in one shot because he wanted that immediacy of the actors' performances. Mm-hmm. Now, another reason that you probably don't get too excited when you read about his films is that he just did a lot of melodrama, in the kind of melodrama that doesn't always have that hook of like, oh yeah, this is the point of interest.
And look, I'll be honest, is
women's picture is what we're getting at.
Yeah, is Hollywood melodrama the thing I reach for? Probably not.
No. So maybe for somebody else, this is exactly what they want.
Well, can we talk about Dark Victory?
Yes.
From 1939. This is one of those movies where when people used to talk about 1939 as like Hollywood's greatest year, they would bring this movie to sort of pad out that claim a little bit. Yeah. It's like you got Gone with the Wind, you got The Wizard of Oz,
you got Dark Victory,
Ninotchka, and then you got Dark Victory.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, not bad.
Ooh, Dark Victory sounds like a noir to me,
now,
Will.
I had seen Dark Victory before because I saw it in class many years ago.
Why did they show you that?
I think probably to represent the melodrama, frankly, in like American popular cinema. And this movie was at the time and is still remembered as a vehicle for Bette Davis
to win an Oscar.
And
she did not get it.
I mean, it's too bad it came out the same year as Gone with the Wind, because no performance has ever been more tailored to win an Oscar than this, except Scarlett O'Hara.
Yeah.
And then
Bette Davis is like, man, I'm glad I don't have an allergy to ham because I'd be dead within 5 minutes of this movie.
Okay, so I love Bette Davis in this movie.
Yep.
I think.
Do you think she gives a hammy performance?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
But like, this is a movie star.
Yes.
She is so charismatic. She's vivacious.
Well, that's the whole point of her character in this film, where the plot is she is a rich young woman who's kind of lost in the world.
But, she likes to ride horses.
Mm-hmm. I love at one point she's like, oh, we're just going to settle down. I don't need all the extravagances, but I'll bring one of my horses with me.
That's right. She's got a stable boy played by Humphrey Bogart. Mm-hmm. And the whole movie, you're like, oh, hopefully she's going to get with Humphrey Bogart. But no, the real leading man is George Brent. Now, who is George Brent?
We love George Brent.
George Brent.
Was he in a Marx Brothers movie of some kind?
George Brent was in all of Bette Davis's movies of this period. She's in Jezebel. She's in The Great Lie. She's in Experiment Perilous. She was Bette Davis's sort of tenured leading man. Sorry, the real heads know. Experiment Perilous is actually a Hedy Lamarr film. Oh. The ICC Corrections Department will be lacerating.
So
me.
Bette Davis is like, get me a co-star that's not really gonna make an impression, so it can be the me show, please.
I mean, what would it have been like to be George Brent? I feel like and people know this about George Brent. Whenever his name comes up, it's like, oh yeah, he's the guy who's not
Bette Davis and George Brent,
not charismatic. He's Zeppo Marx. And you got Humphrey Bogart in this movie, and even Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan is in this, and they do highlight in the Edmund Goulding biography that Ronald Reagan disagreed with Edmund Goulding because he thought that the role as written made him a little too gay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, George Brent, he plays the kindly doctor who's treating Bette Davis of an incurable illness. She gets some medication for it that makes her good as new again, but unfortunately the prognosis is still negative.
So basically, they lie to her. Classic Ikuru. How do you say that?
Well, in Ikiru, he knew.
No, but they don't tell him originally, do they? And he kind of hears it through a door, I believe.
Really? Oh, God, I can't remember. I'll need to see that one again. But
we're all becoming our own Ikuru as we go along in life.
don't I know it? My back hurts all the time now. Maybe I should build a playground.
So Betty Davis learns that, so they're lying to her at first.
Yeah, because they're like, what she really needs is to live out the rest of her life in happiness. So she's on this super drug, I guess, that makes her her not sick.
Would you? Yeah,
but she's still gonna die.
Yeah, she has like a magical disease that like her sight will start to go, and she'll have a few hours after that.
That's right.
And that's basically all they tell us.
And she can still ride horses in the meantime. She can still live a great life. So they're gonna let her be deluded into thinking that she's still living. But then one day she just happens to be looking at Dr. George Brent's files, and she sees 1,000 pages that all say prognosis negative.
Now, what I love about this scene is her looking. It's like prognosis negative, and then she goes into the other room and asks the secretary, "What does prognosis negative mean?"
I'll give you a hint. It's not good.
No, and then she's like,
it's like positive.
Yeah,
it's the opposite of that.
And then she learns this, and we forgot to mention her doctor, played by George, decided to marry her, just to
very ethical.
Very ethical. Now, is this slightly reflective of Edmund Goulding's own life, where he married a woman who died 4 years after he did from tuberculosis? And some of his friends said, "Oh, did he marry her because she was just a beard, or did he also marry her just to make her happy before the end of her life?" Yes, that also happened.
That adds some interesting
texture to
dimension.
It,
yeah. And the whole movie, it's like, God, you got Humphrey Bogart as the stable boy,
just
right,
off in the background.
Right there.
Yes.
And every time he shows up, it's just a blast of charisma. Anyway, this is a famously kind of shameless, as you say, hammy Hollywood melodrama. It's got the famous final scene where she is going up the stairs to her death, basically, which she faces defiantly, and that is the dark victory. The victory over the darkness, because she goes with her chin up high.
Not telling her husband.
Which I think...
I kind of disagree with this.
I think who gives a shit? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong going to your death screaming also.
Yeah, me too. Taking other people with you. I'm driving a car.
I don't think the lesson that like, well,
you're
gonna
went
die
on my own terms.
Yeah, well, hey, fine, go on your own terms, and if that means like screaming and pissing yourself, I think that's just fine too.
I mean, that's all I thought about that final shot, is that like that bed is covered in shit now.
Yes,
of her right after she died. Yeah,
that's right. So I didn't think this movie was very good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
After coming after me, you're like, I love Betty Davis in this movie.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like this movie. It's kind of like Sophie's Choice, where it's this rather pedestrian movie that's built around one powerhouse performance.
But isn't Edmund Goulding? He's pulling the wires that need to happen, that create that emotional. I agree with you that I thought
it's fine.
I liked it for what it was.
Sure,
but I find it like, kind of like almost that Spielbergian, people bounce off of that emotional manipulation.
Yeah,
that's all this is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie is basically like kind of corny and dishonest, frankly, and it's also, aside from Betty Davis, I don't think there's all that much there to chew on. It is, nice looking. What I'll say about Edmund Goulding as a stylist is, of the movies that I saw, really they look kind of like the movies that were being made at those studios at the time. They're well-made examples of those movies, but like, this movie looks like a Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah.
And some of that has to do with the fact that it's got Humphrey Bogart and Ronald Reagan and people like that in it. But then you look at The Razor's Edge and it looks like a Fox movie. And I don't know how to define that, but if you've seen enough Fox movies from the 40s, I think you'll know something of what that looks like.
Early on in his career, no one ever talks about these movies, and they're not really well reviewed in the last few years, but like in the late 20s, like The Trespasser from 1929, which was a big Gloria Swanson vehicle, that was shot by Greg Toland. But it was very weird. I didn't watch the movie, but he said that he shot it with 3 cameras simultaneously. And I was like, oh, so they shot it like a sitcom to get it out?
Well, something that Kim Morgan wrote in her Criterion essay about Nightmare Alley was, she said that he worked closely with the actors. He was known for acting out scenes himself.
Yeah.
And let his magnificent cinematographer, Lee Garmes, sorry if I mispronounced that, craft the noirish nightmare and glitz. Now, I'm not saying that to diminish Edmund Goulding, but I also think he's somebody who, like, he was a Hollywood director. We know what that means. Like, he was a guy who was really good at managing a crew.
Yes.
And so...
and actors as well.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the things that's good about him. He was a journeyman Hollywood director
Who was having a lot of sex.
who was fucking a lot.
But you consider it's like, okay, people know who George Cukor is. Not that many people will know who Edmund Goulding is. And I think there's a reason for that.
Right.
That if you look at his career, he's got like 3 like rock hard classic.
That's right.
That's a classic expression, right? Rock hard classic.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them would not really be The Razor's Edge because that's not one that people watch.
Although, do you want to talk about The Razor's Edge?
I do want to talk about The Razor's Edge.
Because I had a great time watching this.
I love The Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
I think that... Have you read... I haven't read the novel.
No.
It's based, no interest.
Have you seen the Bill Murray film?
No.
No, neither have I.
His passion project.
I know.
Which I feel
Poor
like...
guy.
No one can see the gesture I'm making right now.
Justin's doing a jack off motion.
Yeah, and...
He made Ghostbusters to get The Razor's Edge
Ghostbusters
done.
2, I believe.
Yeah.
That was the deal, is that for Bill Murray would only appear if he got The Razor's Edge done. And so this version, though, I think that it just strikes the right balance. Like we talk about stylistically, those long takes, it just works so well for this movie. And it is the story of some rich jackass finding himself by taking a bunch of leap years. But I think it works because of how miserable it commits to the premise.
100%. I completely agree with you. First of all, the style of the movie. This movie is beautifully executed. It has many, wonderful,
unshowy long tracking shots.
Graceful long takes. Then you're right. It's not showy. It's very unfussy about what it does. And I admire that about this movie. It's just a very intelligent visual experience that's not necessarily calling attention to itself.
And I think that, and we're going to talk about 2 Tyrone Power movies because the next one was made right after this, is that like he's perfect for this role as the kind of like almost hollow guy that goes and discovers like Eastern religion to give himself meaning in his life.
Well, I think the themes of this movie are worth thinking about, and the way the movie commits to those themes is admirable. And the novel, I would assume.
There's a way for this movie to just suck ass at the end of like, oh, and then they get together and they're happy, but it commits to, I assume, the original plot of the novel of like, he may find meaning, but like the other people around his life destroy themselves and he cannot get involved in that anymore.
And it's also ambiguous to what extent he finds meaning.
Yeah, like, is it like the way it's presented on screen does ring a little hollow, and I wonder how much that is in the conception of it or just the way that it's perceived in the whole of it.
So Tyrone Power plays a young fancy lad. He's all set to marry.
Give me a Razor's Edge with Chris Elliott, please.
He's all set to marry Jean Tierney as a young fancy lady. She comes from a fine family, and he says, "You know what? Wait here. I need to go.
I need to find myself.
I need to look at the world for a year." And then, and he does, and she says, "Well, listen, I love you. I'll wait for as long as it takes." He's off doing manual labor in Europe, and she follows him, and he says, "Listen, I got a great idea. We're going to get married, but we're going to live on like $2,000 a year."
Did you love when she goes to his humongous apartment in like Paris and she's like, "You're living in filth," and I'm like, "It's bigger than where I live now."
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but nevertheless, that long breakup section of the movie I think is quite emotionally resonant.
Well, it's interesting in that it's not structurally what you would expect from one of these movies, in that like so much time passes, and I think that it executes it in a very interesting way.
Well, it's 2.5 hours long, and the duration is important. It's important that this couple sort of breaks up a third of the way into the movie without rancor, but with like very fundamental disagreements on how they want their lives to be. Like the Jean Tierney character makes no bones about it. She wants a life of luxury. She wants comforts. She doesn't want this like wandering lifestyle. And they're like, okay, that's fine. But they remain friends. They remain interested in each other. But also she never gives up on the idea that
it could continue after that.
And that she knows like what happiness is. And there are multiple characters in the film that are kind of uncertain about what happiness is, but find other characters that they believe they have the answer for what their happiness should be.
Yeah, like, so Anne Baxter shows up in the movie as a very kind of like realistic and broken person at the center of this Hollywood melodrama, and she adds a tragedy.
And she's so good.
She's so good. And I think the tragedy works so much because it's not like Dark Victory, where it's like so heightened and like, we're in these moments. It like the big tragic moment happens off screen that you hear about it later on.
That's right. Well, so Tyrone Power basically, he's known the Anne Baxter character for a long time.
Yeah.
She's had a tragedy in her life and he thinks he can save her. And for reasons that would be a big spoiler to talk about, that effort is sabotaged. Well, first of all, the scene where she falls off the wagon, I think, is devastating.
Yeah.
It's brilliantly acted by her. It's beautifully staged by Goulding. And the movie leaves it, I think, wisely ambiguous about... so there's obviously a character who's very much at fault for something that has happened.
That set it up.
Yeah.
And that character is like, I did it as a test.
Yeah.
Like a test of character to see what would happen.
But, you know, the movie also leaves it ambiguous of like, would this have happened anyway?
Yeah.
You know? And was Tyrone Power even right to want to engineer what he was trying to engineer?
And I think that's the ending that makes the entire movie work in the way that it does.
Because, you know, he's a character who's trying to find meaning. He's trying to find freedom. But he also has his own ideas about what a well-lived life should be that he's trying to impose on someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Is that like he found it and now he's trying to share that.
And he's doing it with, in some ways, the best of intentions. But
is that right?
Yeah.
What he's doing? And that's what the movie is questioning as it plays out.
So those things I found, very, very powerful, actually. Watching this on a plane at a 30,000 foot. No, it's just the altitude. It was really kind of getting me.
Oh, wow. That's why you're like, oh, it's too high.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Let's move on to Edmund Goulding. If anyone's going to stumble upon him, is because of Nightmare Alley.
Yes.
The 1947, which he made the year after The Razor's Edge. So I guess he was just on a hot streak or something. I didn't mention Edmund Goulding, also famous drunk his entire life.
So Nightmare Alley, first of all, based on the controversial 1946 novel by William Lindsay Gresham, which was purchased by Daryl Zanuck, apparently because he read an article about it. And then once he got it, he was like,
what the hell is this?
How are we going to make this into a movie? There was so much in it about, you know, addiction and carnival-related subject matter.
And I think this is as powerful as it is because you can feel Goulding being like, is this what I'm going to end up with? And I gotta say, after Nightmare Alley, his career did not last very long after this. This like fall into alcoholism and bad decisions, and this is the only noirish film that Goulding ever made.
And it's very unusual, and it's also like kind of almost like horror adjacent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And Kim Morgan, I think in her essay puts it well. She says, to realize this character in this world, the movie needed a director able to mount a big production, able to mix high showrooms in society and low carnivals, and with an unerring eye for actors and characters.
I'm laughing because I expect that sentence to end with, and that director was Guillermo del Toro, and did I mention Kim Morgan also co-wrote the remake of Nightmare Alley?
Yeah.
Which is coming soon.
Have you seen the remake of Nightmare Alley?
I have. I don't like it very much.
So I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. And it's just because Del Toro doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Will I be buying the new Criterion Blu-ray coming out? Yes. Is it going to be presented in black and white? Yes. Is his version also 159 minutes long? Yes.
Well, yeah, so I hear about Guillermo del Toro doing a remake of this. And by the way, feel free to harangue me if it's actually great.
Some people like it.
Yeah, I know some people do. But like I watched Nightmare Alley and it's like, do I need the version of this movie that's longer and that just literalizes all the subtext?
What if you saw the main character's dick? Which you do in the Del Toro version.
You get to see Bradley Cooper's dick?
Yeah.
His real dick?
Yeah, his real dick.
Wow.
And it's like...
So how's his dick?
I mean... huge. I passed out when I saw it. Wow. I don't remember.
Wow.
It's tough to compare when it's like everything seems so small.
Yeah.
So Nightmare Alley is a story of Tyrone Power plays a carny that gets involved with basically like a scam, psychic, supernatural stuff.
Yeah, and it's a very cynical movie where, you know, in the first part of the movie as a carny, you know, he's a con man on smaller carnival scale. And then once he gets into this quasi supernatural stuff, you know, he becomes a sort of a mystic who can connect rich people with their dead relatives.
But most importantly, the movie starts with him hearing about a geek show about a guy that bites off heads of chickens. And he's very shook by this, by thinking of like, what would lead someone to go there? How do you reach that point? Spoiler alert, you can guess how the movie ends. And yeah, so you follow him trying up and up and up. I mean, if I was him, he has a big club that he's performing in. Isn't that enough, Mr. Nightmare Alley? You don't need more than that.
Oh, no, but he just needs more and more and more until the sort of tacked on Hollywood ending.
Now, what's interesting about the ending is that like it is tacked on, but it still feels kind of miserable. Like he doesn't really feel saved. Like he's still broken at the end of all this.
I agree, yeah.
And I think that like...
because you can't unsee
everything. What you've done, especially like the things that will haunt you and the things that you've had to do in his eyes to survive. Anyway, Nightmare Alley, look, we're here to say it's a great movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one needs the least amount of advocacy. I mean, on Edmund Goulding's part, it's a beautifully executed film. The opening carnival scenes are very atmospherically shot, beautifully lit. Well, the whole movie's beautifully lit. The nightclub scenes are
great.
Amazingly staged.
Such a masterful control of like close-ups and just lighting, and that he's still playing in that melodrama milieu that he made his entire career, but because the mood is so pressing down the entire time.
Well, there's a kind of simmering slow burn quality to the film, and I think there's a tension between how beautiful it looks and how sort of sordid the subject matter is, and how deeply cynical the worldview of it and the main character are. Tyrone Power kind of lobbied to play this role because he wanted something that could show
another side of him.
Yeah, and I think it does very much so.
And I mean, if you just even look at the poster, this is also a women-led picture. Like Tyrone Power is in the center of it, but it's all the women actors around him that are kind of like pushing it forward. All of them having different sides.
Joan Blondell is amazing, and the women are sort of like steps on the ladder as he's coming up.
Until he just tumbles off, and like at the ending of King Kong, he's like, what does the guy say of like the lesson of the movie? Like, man, just reach too high, I guess. The end.
I think he says, "'Twas beauty killed the beast."
The beast. Oh, I think Jack Black says that. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Did you know that Peter Jackson wanted Fay Wray to say that at the end of the movie?
Wow.
Yep.
And she said, "I'm too old." Should we talk about Grand Hotel? We somehow missed it. Did you watch it?
I did. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I know. I agree. Well, okay. It's actually, I think it might be easy to lose sight of what was exciting and innovative about this movie at the time.
In the biography, they make a case that this is one of the first like multi-star films that you have like 5 big on top of the top billing stars sharing the same movie.
Well, I mean, even to this day, Grand Hotel is kind of a signifier for a certain kind of ensemble film. Yeah. The early scene in the movie that's set in the hotel lobby, I'm not going to run through every single character. It's, hey,
all the stars are there.
Greta
Garbo, John Barrymore, Joan Crawford, Wallace Berry, Lionel Barrymore.
Hell yeah. Hey, Gene Herschel, the humanitarian himself, is in here.
Now, how did you feel when you heard that Buster Keaton was supposed to have a big main role in this?
Well, I didn't know that he was going to be in this one.
Yeah.
But he also wanted to do like his own version where it'd be like a comic version that had Marie Dressler and Jimmy Durante and a bunch of other comics.
Oh, like Marie Dressler was supposed to be in this movie as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
whoa, I'm
and
getting my wires crossed.
She basically said like, oh, I'll do it for free, but she was like too busy at the time, so she couldn't have the role. And Buster Keaton basically, they went over Edmund Goulding's head, and like Goulding had to call Keaton and be like, I'm sorry. I think he even says Keaton was like, oh, thanks. And then he hung up because during this period, Keaton was an MGM contract player.
Right.
So that's why he would have gotten him in there and given him something different.
Well, I do think Keaton, maybe out of revenge or something, wanted to do a sort of parody
version afterwards. Yeah, that makes sense.
But the early scene in this movie that's set, in the hotel lobby, which was a very innovative set for the time. It was this 360-degree set. Goulding's camera is sort of moving around it as most of the characters, not all, but most of the characters kind of come in and out. There's this facially scarred doctor character who is kind of the he's not really the unifying character, but he bookends the movie by saying something like, yes, this Berlin hotel.
There's a lot of stories that happen at this hotel.
Yes, and he says words to the effect of like, lots of stuff happens and nothing really happens. Also, it's 1932 in Berlin, so something is about to happen.
And nothing really happens. Let's look at the time. I mean, they didn't know when they were making this that something was about to happen.
Yeah.
And this is a film that we didn't even mention this, that a lot of the reasons that Goulding doesn't get talked about that much is he was always known as the facilitator to producers, specifically Irvin Thalberg, which we talked about in our Marx Brothers. He was the wunderkind of MGM. He like shepherded a lot of productions, and he was very involved in Grand Hotel. There's a really good book. What is it called? It's about the studio system. It's like
Genius of the System.
Yeah, Genius of the System. That like breaks down the making of Grand Hotel almost like beat by beat about how this came together.
I mean, if you put yourself in the headspace of a 1932 audience member, think of how static the first few years of sound films were.
Yes, and Goulding was a huge proponent for sound. So like when it was starting, he wrote a big essay being like, this is the future. Isn't it so funny? Like people are like, sound, it will destroy cinema. It's like, you go to plays, you go to like, what is the modern equivalent now of like, people will be like, they didn't want AI to be doing all their movies.
Oh my God.
I mean, which is why I'm getting on the AI train.
Well, like the last couple of years of silent film, like 27, 28.
Yeah, the style was like out of the world of what they were doing.
And the first couple of years of sound films a little static.
We all saw Babylon, and we know how that works. Killing soundmen left and right.
That's right. But this movie, you can see kind of the visual grace of this film.
Yes. Well, he was very much pushing that forward of like. And I'm curious to know, like, a lot of cameramen who worked with him or cinematographers said, like, he wasn't really interested in what the camera did. It was mostly left to us.
Which
but I think it's
fascinating to hear that.
It's undeniable watching his movies that there is a consistency to it. And it's curious to know, is that style just a side effect of him just wanting to work with the actors so much? And by consequence, having a lot play out in long takes?
Well, I'll just say you take all 4 of these movies, which are all like, pretty pleasing visual.
Rock hard bangers.
Well, yeah. They all suggest a filmmaker who is interested in the visual side of things. Mm-hmm. And yet people say that he just trusted his cinematographers. And I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there was something in his... Maybe it wasn't disinterest so much as just trusting talented technicians in a way that maybe others didn't.
But I mean, if you look at his filmography, there's a consistency to it. But there's also, we're talking about these 4 films. We ain't going to do another Edmund Goulding episode. There's not enough there.
Although I would be interested to know, for the Goulding heads out there, let me know what the good ones are.
I mean, they make a case of like early film, like the silent film Love, which is an adaptation of Anna Karenina, was John Gilbert and Greta Garbo. Is one that people really like. The biographer makes a case for his early kind of trilogy of auteurist films like The Trespasser, The Devil's Holiday, and Reaching for the Moon, because Goulding wrote, directed, and I believe produced those 3 films himself. So like he was very involved in that creative process. So, maybe those ones. But then again, I look at Letterboxd, 3 stars, 1 star, 2 stars, and this is a self-selecting audience as well.
Yeah, so I'd like to know, what are the great Edmund Goulding deep cuts? We've got to have some Edmund Goulding fans who are listening. You know what's going to happen, too? We'll be the first thing that shows up.
When people search Edmund Goulding? Yes, probably.
Yeah, and if we've ever had a negative review in iTunes, it's because... iTunes, whatever it's called now.
Yes.
I'm old, sorry. If we've ever had a negative review...
I don't like their nasally voices.
They don't like that. And it's like, I looked up this one director, and I slightly disagreed with one thing they said. 0 stars.
Yeah, you know what? That's your God-given right to do that.
So rate and review us on your podcast app.
Please, but 5 stars. Not 0.
Only 5 stars.
Only 5 stars.
And don't give me any of that 3-star shit.
Yeah, come on. Do you listen every week? Then it's a 5-star podcast.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
Unless you're like hate listening it for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that, but perhaps it happens out there. I'm sure. Do you have any hate listen podcasts, Will?
No, I don't actually, because
you're not a big podcast head, so
life's a little short. I make the podcast.
I hate record every week, so
Yeah.
I don't need to listen to any of it.
So do we have any letters, Justin?
We do have some letters, but before we get to our letters, I do want to highlight there are many screenings of Matt Farley and Charlie Roxburgh's Evil Puddle happening recently. Look at your local listings. Maybe there's an ICC head or a Matt Charlie superfan who's hosting a screening. And there is one that is happening at the Gorge Cinema, which is in Elora, Ontario. Have you ever been to Elora, Ontario?
I have family at Elora, Ontario.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And that they're doing a screening, and the guy who's hosting it is like, I just need like 30 people, please. 30 people.
We can get that done.
Don't make that promise, Will. That's like what baseball players like. I'll hit a homer for you.
Okay, no. Here's what I'll say. I think we can get people out to this. So yeah, if you are anywhere near Elora, you're in Kitchener, you're in Waterloo, you're in London, Ontario, that is.
Yeah.
Or England.
G'day, mate.
Why not? Or Australia, as the case may be. Put another shrimp on the barbie and...
Sorry, I gotta clear my throat. It's more like hello. There's London, Ontario. So it's happening at the Gorge Cinema at 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 30th. There's no other way to see Evil Puddle right now. I don't know when it's going to become available for home viewing, but you want to see this in a theater. Me and Will have not had a chance to see this in a theater yet either.
No, hopefully we will soon.
Very soon. I mean, all people need to do, hey, we will be flown out to wherever you're screening Evil Puddle to be like, we did a podcast on this once.
Yeah. Fly us out, even though we have nothing to do with the film.
Nothing to do with the film, not at all. You could easily get Matt Farley or Charlie Roxburgh and pay for them to come down. Isn't it been delightful to see the Matt Farley World Tour that's happening these days?
I love it. I'm glad. I'm glad he's having fun.
So again, Evil Puddle, the Gorge Cinema, Saturday, August 30th, happening at 2 p.m. Age 12 and under, get in free. So you can bring your kid if you want to. There is nothing threatening or not kid friendly in this movie at all.
Sounds good.
And as for letters, we have regular contributor Jeffrey Schwartz has an email.
Oh,
I love to get
Is this the third letter we've read from Jeffrey Schwartz?
Maybe the fourth, but he worked in the trenches of DVD production, and he has one of those right here for us now.
He did all the extras on the Blue Velvet DVD, for instance.
He goes, "Hey guys, thought you might enjoy this little story. Back in 2000, Automat Pictures produced the bonus features for New Line Cinema's Little Nicky DVD.
Okay.
Remember those things? Of course we do. Adam Sandler starred as the son of Satan, and then the film was filled with glorious cameos like Rodney Dangerfield, John Lovitz, Kevin Nealon, Quentin Tarantino. I love how Kevin Nealon is between Rodney Dangerfield and Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, it doesn't Kevin Nealon just come with the furniture? I mean...
Carl Weathers, Rob Schneider, Clint Howard.
Oh, Rob Schneider. How'd he get that?
Robert Smigel as the voice of Mr. Beefy the Bulldog, and Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, rest in peace.
The brilliant Mike Mulvihill, then Senior VP of Content Development of New Line, came up with the idea to bring all these people together and turn the DVD commentary into a kind of surreal radio show hosted by co-star Michael McKean. Instead of the usual director at mic format, we created something chaotic and fun, part call-in show, part fever dream. Celebrities either showed up or phoned it in, a miracle technology at the time, and they did it because they genuinely loved Adam Sandler.
Whoa, how did I not know about this? We gotta check
watch this
out.
Everyone wanted to be in on it. In the movie, Ozzy Osbourne played himself in a scene involving biting the head off a bat in hell. For his bit in the commentary, he arrives at the studio with his wife Sharon, who was fierce and completely in charge. Ozzy was very sweet, shy, and a bit bewildered. When I handed him the release form, he held it in his shaking hand, staring at it blankly, until Sharon snatched it away, gave it a steely once-over, and told Ozzy, sign on the dotted line. His signature was an indecipherable scribble. This was a couple of years before the Osbournes turned Ozzy and Sharon into reality TV icons. We also made a featurette called Satan's Top 40 about the devil and heavy metal music. At a press junket, I asked Adam Sandler if he'd heard the urban legend about Ozzy eating his way out of a cow. He said, no, but I ate a steak with him at Morton's. Ozzy was a legend and a showman and a true original. Getting to meet him was just one of those perfect weird days that could only happen during the golden age of DVD. Isn't it wild that Ozzy Osbourne is showing up for a bit on the commentary track?
Yeah, and now every commentary is just by Frank Jeng
Yeah.
over and over again.
Hey, we're there too.
Where are we doing commentaries?
On the Crippled Master Blu-ray release.
Oh, that's right. That's all we've got.
Gold Ninja Video.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and we haven't talked about Gold Ninja Video because I haven't done anything in a long time. I can tell you, due to outside pressure, me needing money, I will be doing a lot more coming up soon. And I'm not going to say what it is. Will's giving me wide eyes.
Yeah.
But let me just say, is there a dream release that we've always had in mind?
It's coming.
It's coming. That's all I'll say.
Well, I'm excited that you need money because
Yes.
I'm looking forward to getting back in the flow.
Because Justin needed the money. Yeah, so that's happening. It's going to be going back to monthly. And I can say that because I just got 2 scores for The Devil Bear, the unreleased Canadian film that I'll be putting out on Blu-ray. My lovely partner Emily recorded an improvised original piano score. And there's also a second newly recorded for this release, as opposed to it existed somewhere else, improvised multi-instrument score by another composer as well. So
when can people buy The Devil Bear?
I don't want to give a date, in the next few weeks.
Okay.
So check goldenninjavideo.com. You can subscribe to the mailing list. When it goes on sale, I will be sending out. I'm really, really trying to that when I make a release, I can just start sending it out because it's basically done.
Okay.
So that's maybe they'll be a little bit advanced, but I hate I do a pre-order and it goes on and on and on, and I get a million emails being like, where's my thing? So I want to try to avoid that. And I can say also that I recorded a video featurette where I interviewed Stephen R. Bissett. He's in the Eisner Hall of Fame.
Wow.
The people may know him as the artist of Alan Moore's run of Swamp Thing, the saga of the Swamp Thing. He's also the biggest movie geek. And I just reached out to him because he had reached out to me and said, I'm a big fan of Gold Ninja Video. And I said, would you want to do a video featurette where we just talk about Gorilla Superformers? And he said, I would love to. He knows everything about Gorilla Superformers. Everything.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
And he also thinks that maybe the Devil Bear costume is a famous guy. Who is that? Well, you'll have to listen to the video featurette we did on the Blu-ray to find out. So Devil Bear coming up soon, and keep your eyes peeled. But people always ask me if there's a lot of martial arts films coming out from Gold Ninja Video. Let me just be straight with you. No. Since I started doing this, everyone is doing it now. And it's much easier and for me and Will to feel sane, mostly me, that like we put out films that are so clearly in the public domain that no one can argue with us.
That's right.
So look forward to that. And the Bowery Boys, of course, coming up.
So next week on the podcast, we are talking about another celebrity who passed away recently. Someone close to all of our hearts, Hulk Hogan.
Yes, close to all of our hearts. So I pitched this one because no one likes Hulk Hogan's movies. No,
not even his fans.
Not even his fans like them. Not even like ironically people like them. And I want to know, why is that? Why was he never able to connect? So we'll be watching No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny, and
not Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
Please don't make me watch Mr. Nanny.
And one of the late period straight action movies. And for the first time on this podcast, me and Will be watching and discussing some of the most important Hulk Hogan matches. Now, which ones do you think are the most important? Let us know in the Discord. We can check them out. They're short, but I think it'll be important of like Hulk Hogan was the wrestler in the 80s. Everyone loved him. Why did that not translate to movies? That's basically going to be the thesis or the discussion of the episode. So,
and hey, who knows? Maybe these movies will be great. I mean, I've seen
That's
No Holds Barred. I know it's not, but who knows?
I mean, maybe Hulk Hogan had a heart of gold after all of this.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Or ate too much sushi. Now, can we slot that one in to the discussion of this episode?
What, his sex tape?
No.
I just don't want to watch it.
I don't want to watch that. No,
Yeah.
me neither. I wanted to live the parts I've heard about it that make me laugh, and I've not seen a second of it. So that's what we're doing next week. Until then, I'm Justin Decloux.
I'm Will Sloan.
Thanks for listening. As per usual, I would like to thank some of our new patrons, who include Niels Harpoth, Andrew M., Saturn's Core, Kevin McCandless, Palm Frond, Ali Quadir, Robin B.L., Vasil Karamov, Jonah A., Aaron Prime, Andrew Lincoln, Jason Singman, Mallory, Sebastian Perry, Elias O'Hality, Dan Culbertson, and Kay. Thank you very much for becoming patrons. We would not keep doing this without you. Will, you took a trip to the Beacon Theater.
Oh, that's right. In Seattle, Washington, they were kind enough to fly me out to promote my book, Ed Wood Made in Hollywood, USA. Thanks to Tommy Swenson, as well as Shayna Nowicki, for flying me out and showing me around. They showed me all the sites. I saw Bruce Lee's grave. I saw John Saxon's grave.
A smaller grave beside Bruce Lee's grave.
It is actually 20 feet away from Bruce Lee's
wild.
grave. Which, if I were John Saxon...
I'm like, get me the hell away from here.
You spent the last 50 years of your life fielding...
How was it like working with Bruce Lee? I've answered this question 1,000 times. Stop asking me.
We made a movie together. We weren't friends.
Yes.
It's over.
Yeah.
But he's buried near Bruce Lee.
Now, your screens were sold out too, right?
They were sold out, which it's a micro theater. It wasn't too hard to sell out.
Oh, wait, how many seats does it have?
60 seats or so.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But
they have a projector, don't they? Because they've shown prints of stuff before.
I don't think they have shown prints, but maybe eventually. I mean, the Beacon is a beautiful theater. It's fantastic. It's emblematic of like what repertory cinema will be going forward, you know, just a really smart like community led staff that has their finger on the pulse of cinephilia.
I hope one day to visit Albert Pune retrospective. I'll be there.
Well, guys, I mean, you go out to Vancouver often enough.
Not anymore.
No?
Because I used to, and then Emily's parents, who used to live there, now live in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe one day you and I will go out together, or better yet, you go out yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be cheaper to bring one person to Beacon Theater.
True.
I like you come, they sell out. They're like, that was great. Oh God, we're so in the hole now.
Maybe.
Will had so much pornography he ordered on his hotel television. I didn't even know you could still do this. Most importantly, I wanted to talk about that there was a star sighting when you walked into a famous Seattle landmark that you were spotted. They recognized you when you walked in.
Oh,
because you texted me about this.
I texted. Well, folks, if you were in this party, I did go to Scarecrow Video, which is the best video store in the world.
Undeniably. Yeah.
At least in the Western world.
If it closes, you burn Seattle to the ground.
I wouldn't know. I mean, you go there, every shelf.
They have everything.
Everything.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fantastic. I was having a great time. I mean, I wish I could buy more stuff there, but I was just having a great time looking at.
I mean, they are a library. They have so much rare stuff. It's like you can't really buy that, right? For some of the things.
I know, but I in my fantasy,
you would go. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I met people. And folks, if you're one of the people listening, shout out to you. I met people who came to the screening later. And I texted this to Justin because I knew he would enjoy it. I walk in and somebody greets me with Justin Decloux. And I thought, well,
I'm nerdy. I'm bespectacled.
First of all, understandable.
Yeah, you probably saw a photo of both of us somewhere.
You know, I'm going gray.
Yeah.
So we look more and more alike, as old married couples do.
Yes, exactly.
And I thought
You didn't talk, right? He just saw you and said, like, if he had heard your voice, he knew it wouldn't be.
Probably, yeah. But you know, it's understandable. And I thought to myself, will I ever be free of Justin Decloux?
Did you go, yeah, it is Justin Decloux, and just pretend to be me?
Yeah, and I said, fuck off.
Yeah. You ate the chocolate bar, you threw it to the ground.
I'm the less nice co-host. Actually, I want to tell you something else I did in Seattle.
Yeah.
So at the Beacon Theater the next day, they have a thing called 5 Minutes to Live, which is they show the first 5 minutes of 5 different films.
Oh, and you get to pick which ones.
The audience gets to vote.
Wasn't 5 Minutes to Live the name of like a bootleg company that was great?
It was, as well as a Johnny Cash film.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah, they showed the first 5 minutes of various films. And the one that won was The Fruit is Swelling.
Oh, that's the famous Hong Kong film that's basically Big if it was more sexually explicit.
Yes, it's the Tom Hanks classic Big, but it's a girl who's 8 years old.
It should be very illegal.
And
but you know what? Big is like that too, because Tom Hanks has sex in Big as an 8-year-old boy.
And I always found that, even when I was a kid, I found that weird.
Yeah, people don't really talk about that.
But anyway, The Fruit is Swelling. Yeah.
I know that Grady Hendrix has showed a print of that at one of his things before.
I bet it was beautiful.
No, I think it played at Button-umathon, maybe, at one of the Harry Knowles, rest in peace's, screening series.
Yeah, and, you know, it was an amazing film to watch with the crowd. There were definite walkouts.
Were there? Yeah. What were some of the choices? Do you remember the movies? Did you hear what they were? They just showed you 5 minutes.
Yeah, they did tell us what the movies were afterwards. And there's one in particular that I'm kind of eager to watch, but I'm glad it didn't win for obvious reasons. So it's called Message from the Future, and it's about an alien who comes from 1,000 years in the future to visit the world in 1985 to say, for the sake of the future, you need to start World War III now. Amazing premise, right? What country do you think it came from? Israel.
Yep.
So
maybe a Michael and Us on the horizon.
I mean, you know, could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this, man. This rep theater sounds amazing. So
it's so great. Yeah, the Beacon. You know,
yours to discover if you live. If you live in Seattle, you're not going to the Beacon. What are you doing?
Shame on you.
Shame on you. Get there. Get there.